Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thanks to watch this video. And my name is Muhammad Dwi Reza. And in this video, I'll try to explain corruption as one of the issue in public administration, especially in Indonesia. Corruption is one of the problems that affect many countries in the world, including Indonesia. And of course, it is tough to prevent and overcome it. According to Tuan Kota 2007, the effort to overcome corruption always didn't have maximum impact. Why? Because the perpetrators are mostly officials who have power, finance, education, and also have a position. For this reason, corruption is complicated to eliminate because every perpetrator who is also an official has a greedy and satisfied nature with what they have already obtained. For this reason also, the greedy behavior inherent in them sometimes uses and utilizes their existing power and position to achieve their desires, without even thinking about good or bad and right or wrong. Okay, there are many experts who express their opinion about corruption. Among them, there are Siti Mariam who expressed her opinion about corruption. Siti Mariam in Rodlia Salim 2017 defined corruption as every action that committed by a person or legal entity that is against the law to enrich her or himself or another person or even legal entity that directly and or indirectly harms the state finance and also state economy. Not only Siti Mariam, there is also Marzuki Ali's opinion about the corruption. According to Marzuki Ali in Rodlia Salim 2017, corruption is an extraordinary crime that must be fought by together involving all people and institutions. Marzuki Ali thinks so because corruption can give a tremendous impact on society, state, even to the world. After we know what corruption is and what the impact of corruption, the next question that arises in our mind is what causes corruption? According to Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan Republik Indonesia 2011, there are two factors that cause corruption, internal factor and external factor. In internal factor, there are three more sub-factors that cause corruption. The first is human greed. It is uncommon to find that the corruptors are actually already rich. But it is because the greed nature that drives them to commit the corruption to increase their own wealth. The second sub-factor is weak moral. A person who have weak moral tend to be easily to be tempted to commit a corruption. The temptation itself can come from superior, co-workers, subordinate, or other who provide opportunities to commit a corruption. The last subfactor from internal factor is consumptive lifestyle. Consumptive lifestyle can encourage someone to commit a corruption in order to fulfill their lifestyle needs. Okay, maybe that's it for internal factor. The next is external factor, who also have three sub-factors. The first sub-factor is aspect of public attitudes towards corruption. Corruption can be caused by public attitude toward corruption. For example, society values a person by the wealth he has. The second sub-factor is economic aspect. Corruption can also occur due to lack of income when compared to needs. So to fulfill these needs, people can tempt to commit a corruption. And the last sub-factor in external factor is political aspect. The political aspect is one of the causes of corruption. This can be seen where is the political instability, such as the opportunity to be re-elected through money politics, which can be tempt officials to commit corruption. So in these cases, corruptor use the money to do a money politic to be re-elected through money politic. Okay, after we know what corruption is and what the impact of corruption and what causes corruption, so the last thing, let's try to compare corruption in Indonesia and in Singapore. According to transparency.org, Indonesia's rank of corruption perception index 2020 is at the 102nd rank from 180 countries. Meanwhile, Singapore is on the 3rd rank. According to Tanjung Mahardika Haryadi and Hergia Lukman Wicaksono 2013, there are many things that make Indonesia's rankings and Singapore are very far apart. Among them were regulation of criminal act of corruption. Regulation in Singapore differentiate more on the sorting perpetrators from criminal act of corruption, while Indonesia, they differentiate more on criminal act of corruption that occur. This can be seen from the regulation in Singapore with the Prevention of Corruption Act as the formulation of specific criminal act in the business community. Example like bribery between the private sector and the private sector. And for the civil servant itself, the regulations are different. The regulations used are from Singapore Criminal Code or Singapore Criminal Law Book. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, there is no sorting like that, like Singapore, but Indonesia differentiate more from the type of corruption without differentiate the perpetrators. Okay, the second difference is Singapore have CPIB or Corruption Practices Investigation Bureau as a Singaporean anti-corruption institution. Meanwhile, in Indonesia, we have KPK or KPK, Komisi Pemberantasan Korupsi, as an Indonesia anti-corruption institution. The characteristics of CPIB are actually quite unique due to their relatively small size. The organization structure of CPIB Singapore at the top position held by the director, and there are 3 divisions or sections under it, which are Operation Section, Corporate Affairs Section, and Investigation Section. Meanwhile, KPK has a very large organizational structure size, and sometimes KPK organizational structure change as has happened recently with the new KPK regulation which make advisory board position equal or even higher than KPK leader. Okay, the last factor that make Indonesia and Singapore ranks are very far apart is the corruption culture. Singapore is one of the developed countries in Asia, but corruption is not a new thing for Singaporeans. However, under the leadership of Lee Kuan Yew, everything began to change. Lee Kuan Yew declared war on corruption. He emphasized that no one, even the top government officials, are immune from investigation and punishment for corruption. Lee Kuan Yew's determination was supported by passing a new law for corruption, and the follow-up of this law is the establishment of an independent anti-corruption agency in Singapore, which named CPIB that we already talked before. In Indonesia, the problem of corruption is already rooted and entrenched even among the majority of public officials, and it is not uncommon to see corruption as something natural, and a lot of Indonesians, including me, thinks that corruption already become a culture in their country. That's why many people are so pessimistic for the law enforcement effort to overcome the corruption in our country. But I suggest we must remove this culture as soon as possible. Maybe that's all for this video, and I personally suggest to the government to make KPK to be a lean and independent institution like CPIB in Singapore. And KPK should not get too much interference from the government like just has happened recently that make many people think that KPK in Indonesia has been weakened by government because of new KPK regulation and the National Insight Test, which failed many KPK employees, including the KPK senior investigator Novel Baswedan. That's all from me. Thanks for watching.